वेलकम टू श्रीराम सा आईएएस। आप सबका स्वागत है इस न्यूज एनालिसिस में, जहां पे हम डिस्कशन करने वाले हैं E20 के ऊपर। ब्राजील में इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग का प्रोग्राम और इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग पे लॉ 1900s में ही आ गया था, 1983 के आसपास। बट इंडिया में द पॉलिसी इज नाउ इन इट्स पीक, वेयर वी आर एट दिस टाइम having the E20, that is 20% of ethanol and 80% of petrol. Now this analysis and the comparative analysis of Brazil and India is somehow important for your UPSC exam. Not only in GS3, that is environment, but also for international relations, because you need to understand how the geopolitics and geoeconomics impact our economy. Not only that, but also that how imported inflation can impact our market. Further, आपने कुछ टाइम पहले एक वीडियो देखा होगा जिसमें बहुत सारे क्रिटिसिज्म आ रहा है सोशल मीडिया पे हमारे बहुत सारे मिनिस्टर्स के अगेंस्ट में। आई वुड नॉट लाइक टू टेक देयर नेम्स, बट द प्रॉब्लम हियर इज इट्स नॉट अबाउट क्रिटिसिज्म ऑफ द गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज, इट्स अबाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग द पॉलिसी प्रॉपरली। इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग प्रोग्राम अगर हम देखें, इथेनॉल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस PNGR इन्होंने अभी हाईलाइट किया और इन्होंने इस बात को बताया दैट इथेनॉल ब्लेंडिंग की वजह से शायद माइलेज कार का डिक्रीज हो सकता है फ्रॉम 3 to 5%। बट डज दैट मीन कि हमें बस आज की सोचनी है? डज दैट मीन कि हमें बस अभी का सोचना है कि मेरी कार का पेट्रोल थोड़ा सा माइलेज थोड़ा सा कम हो गया, सो आई शुड नॉट यूज इट, और वी शुड डिस्कार्ड द पॉलिसी एट द नेशनल लेवल? That is not the case. However, ministry says that ethanol blending program में जो हम ethanol blended पेट्रोल यूज कर रहे हैं, that seems to be costly. बट जब आगे आने वाले टाइम में पेट्रोल पर बैरल और क्रूड ऑयल पर बैरल 120 से लेके $130 हो जाएगा, उस टाइम पे इथेनॉल ब्लेंडेड प्रोग्राम विल बी द चीपेस्ट ऑप्शन टू अस। लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड दिस न्यूज इन डिटेल। सो मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पेट्रोलियम एंड नेचुरल गैस हैज एक्नॉलेज्ड दैट ethanol blended program, that is E20, may reduce the efficiencies, but efficiency reduce करने के साथ साथ there is one such green light, or why would I say that this E20 is much greener than what we are actually thinking. E20 is a blend of 20% ethanol and 80% petrol. Further, it's not cheap because government is procuring it from farmers. गवर्नमेंट फार्मर्स को ही 70, 71, 72 रुपए दे रही है, 71 रुपीज। उस कॉस्ट पे अगर गवर्नमेंट कोई चीज प्रोक्योर कर रही है तो इसका लॉजिकल सा मतलब ये है दैट इवन इफ दे डू नॉट अर्न प्रॉफिट, इट स्टिल विल बी मोर कॉस्टली दैन पेट्रोल। हाउएवर, द प्रॉब्लम डज नॉट स्टॉप ओवर हियर, द प्रॉब्लम गोज ऑन फर्दर, दैट वी विल नॉट स्टॉप एट इथेनॉल E5 और E10 और 15 और 25. Rather, we should aspire for E85 and E100. That is where 100% of the gasoline will be derived from the ethanol only. ठीक है? Brazil is one such model where on an average 5.3% volume of water is there in the total petrol or total oil which they are using. समझ में आ गया बात? So 5.3% water and the rest of this is ethanol only. Therefore, हम अगर देखें, अगर आपने सुना होगा या समझा होगा या कभी आपको आइडिया हुआ होगा इसका, दैट वी हैव टू टेक द फर्स्ट मूवर्स एडवांटेज। फर्स्ट मूवर्स एडवांटेज वही कंट्री ले सकती है किसी भी एक चीज में, चाहे वो क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स है, चाहे वो पेट्रोल है। क्रिटिकल मिनरल्स में भी हमने इस साल क्रिटिकल मिनरल कॉरिडोर्स लॉन्च किए हैं। वाई? बिकॉज वी नो दैट चाइनाज मोनोपोली हैज टू बी क्वेश्चनड। Therefore, यहाँ पे भी we have to make the first movers advantage. We have to make the first move to I would say to initialize, or I would say to push the policy at its peak. Understood? So further, this 20% and 80% petrol of E20 or ethanol blended petrol, does this actually mean that ethanol should be cheaper, or does this mean that EBP should be cheaper than the petrol? No. Why? Because government is procuring it at higher cost and it cannot sell it at lower cost. However, once the crude oil prices increase, then only we can ensure, or we can think to it that okay, EBP can be now cheaper. Further, we also need to understand that how EBP or how the biofuels are going to impact our economy. First, the ethanol will be used. How much? 1016 crore rupees ka, crore liters ka ethanol will be used. Second, 203 lakh metric tons of greenhouse gases will be avoided by this. 28,000 crore rupees can be saved in terms of Forex. That is the impact of this. According to the government, if crude oil rises around 100 to 130 per barrel, ethanol becomes cheaper than petrol. Further, we also need to understand why is government promoting this E20. There are 5 main reasons which you can directly use in your mains answer. That why is government actually promoting E20? First, it has higher octane rating, which makes it better in consumption, high improved energy and reduced knocking, also smoother acceleration and better pickup. Further, it is cleaner in nature. As I said that it will save us how much? 203 lakh metric tons of greenhouse gas. When it is cleaner in its nature, it emits less carbon dioxide. As highlighted over here, it emits very less carbon dioxide. It can save us 28,000 crore rupees in Forex. Further, energy security can be ensured because India is totally dependent. About 85% of the crude oil is directly imported from outside. This brings in India the imported inflation. The inflation which you witnessed in gas cylinders, which you witnessed in petrol, the inflation which you witnessed in multiple imported items, that inflation will be prevented, or Indian economy will be more resilient when it comes to this ethanol blended program. Further, farmer welfare can be also ensured. How farmer welfare will be ensured? Because when we pay them better prices, then only their income will increase. Understood? So why ethanol does not give same mileage? Because one thing, energy content. The energy content of ethanol is lesser than petrol. It is just 21 m joules per liter. Understood? So since ethanol contains less energy per liter, more fuel is required to travel the same distance. That is why the mileage is lesser. Understood? India started its policy about ethanol blending in 2001. पहली बार एक पायलट प्रोजेक्ट लॉन्च किया गया था 2001 में, उसके बाद 2013 में फॉर्मल पॉलिसी आई, 2018 में द इंस्टीट्यूशनल रिफॉर्म्स स्टार्टेड blending the petrol and started using ethanol blended petrol. 2021 में major investment and then phased roll out of E20 fuel. Understood? Clear? However, there are multiple advantages to this which we already discussed, that it will reduce our crude oil imports, it will save us foreign exchange, it will save or it will improve farmers' income, it will lower greenhouse gas emissions, better combustion, cleaner engines and support India's net zero emissions by 2070. The goal of India, that is we need to be net zero by 2070. This can also be achieved. And net zero 2070 Atmanirbhar Bharat was asked by UPSC in prelims 2026. One more thing. Concerns regarding E20, because it will decrease the mileage, it may cost a bit on your pocket right now, but in the future it will be more sustainable. So think about it that we are saving this money for our future generations. Compatibility issues in older vehicles, water absorption by ethanol can affect the storage, greater demand of crops, and further it has cost advantage. It has cost advantage which depends on global crude oil prices. Understood? Clear? Now, for prelims and for mains, you need to remember these points. These are very pertinent points for your prelims. Just a pointer that what is E20, what is E5, 15, 10 and 25 and 85 and 100, we already discussed it. Why ethanol has higher octane number but a lower calorific value? Lower calorific value means that there is slight reduction in terms of mileage. Further, there are some more points that how we can produce ethanol. It can be produced from any, I would say, extract or waste. Say it is sugarcane, molasses, juice, maize, surplus or damaged food grains. Further, for UPSC mains, you can try this question, write this question, and once you write this question, you can directly share this question with me or on our portals. These are my contact details. You can share it here. I will give you the proper feedback of your answer. Further, if you want to cover economy, you can directly go through NCERTs from class 6 to 12, which have been summarized in one single document of NCERTs, all of them just 120 pages. For this, you can DM. or if you want to revise entire economy UPSC PYQs, it is here recorded in this marathon, once and for all, 3.5 घंटे का marathon. If you want to revise entire economy for prelims or for any one-day exams, it is recorded over here in 9.5-hour marathon. You can watch this also. For now, I'll take a leave from all of you. I wish you all the best for being here, and with this, Jai Hind, and I want all of you to keep watching and follow the channel for more updates. Thank you once again. Jai Hind.